time. I know we're all busy. I know we are over here. So I'm going to open it up to questions.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with James Cratch.
Greg, I guess since we last talked to you, how's the health program? Have you had more positive cases? And how confident are you that this rapid antigen testing is going to kind of make what happened a couple of weeks ago there's so much of an issue going forward?
Well, I definitely, to answer the second part of your question, I think the rapid antigen testing is a game changer. I really do. And, you know, when it came out, it became a real pointed topic of discussion with everyone in our league. To answer your other question, we have had a few more positives since we last spoke, but not a runaway issue or anything like that. I'm gonna going forward, I'm gonna hesitate to really make too many comments on as we get into the competitive season what that is, but I'm glad to discuss it now with you guys. So, but I do think that the rapid antigen testing is huge.
Go to Bobby Darren.
Coach, where are you kind of at with the practice schedule? And you said you had contingency plans. What is it going to look like now moving forward in terms of getting guys ready for the season?
Well, we're going to have to, Bobby. We're going to have to take the different contingency plans that we have. We're going to kind of have to mesh them together, and some of that has not yet trickled down to us. What is going to be legal? How much time? How many hours a week do we get to prepare our football teams? So there's a lot of unique challenges that are going to come about as a result of when the season is. One of the things that I truly have learned over 32 years of coaching, training camp is the only time, especially in college football, it's the only time where your team is solely dedicated to football. There's nothing else. There's no classes. We're all together. We eat, sleep, everything is together. And you make your largest advancements in that period. And it's about a month's time. Well, with the absence of training camp, it's going to be a unique challenge. And I think every bit of experience that this staff has is going to be called upon to be able to prepare a football team for a game, which essentially is in 5 weeks.
Tom Canavan, AP.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, Tom. How are you?
Good. There's been, since March, so many stops and starts to football and all sports. How do you get the players to sit down and say, to buy all in, to sit there and say, oh, okay, they're going to let us back for 2 weeks and they're going to pull the rug out from under us again?
Well, the whole time, Tom, I've been honest with the players, transparent about what's happening, why we're doing what we're doing. And although I don't think it clears the frustration, I think it makes them feel like they're part of the solution. They're involved. They know the why behind what we're doing. I know they're all very excited. When I was able to finally tell them for sure that we are going to have a season, I mean, that's what football players do and that's what football coaches do. So, I think I speak for everybody in the building. There's a different kind of energy in the halls right now, which is exciting.
Thank you.
Go to Danny, Asbury Park Press.
Hey, Coach.
Hi, Danny.
Obviously, the ups and downs this past month have been pretty crazy for you guys. I mean, what have the players kind of been going through with the season being called to now at this point where looking like we're having a season?
Well, I think the uncertainty is without a doubt unsettling for everybody, players, coaches, administrators. Because even though it was postponed, and early on there was thoughts of it might be in the spring, you always felt like there was a possibility. You never really knew what could happen. And we tried to do our best to physically and mentally prepare, but it's hard when you don't know what it is exactly that you're preparing for. Look, it's a challenge, right? We're going to get ready to play a game here. They're in school. They have tutors. They have everything that college athletes go through, and we didn't have training camp. But that's the way it is. So figure out a plan to get your team the most ready that you can, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to have them as ready as we can for that first game.
Keith Sargent.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Sarge. How you doing?
Good. A few questions.
What are you in a song or something, Sarge?
Most of the people on this line don't even know what a phone booth is, by the way. That's kind of a
Point well taken. Point well taken. Politi does, though, I tell you that.
How many players have opted out so far, Greg? Do you expect the ones that did to be able to opt back in? That's part one. And then part two would be, will the NCAA's blanket eligibility waiver have an impact on how you use your personnel this year?
Two really good questions. First one, the blanket eligibility waiver, I think, has to have an impact on how you'd use personnel. You know, what's happened since I left being a head coach is, you know, at first you could play in 4 games now. That was never the case, right? Before that, you had to have an injury to do that. Now you can just play in 4 games. Well, now to make it every game, right, you can play in every game and it not count. I think it definitely will have an effect. I can't tell you yet because I don't know our team yet, where that's going to apply or who that's going to apply to. But it certainly will have an effect. The opt-out situation, I'm not going to get into names now because, like you said, I'm going to give them a chance to opt in. And quite frankly, I think people were opting out and weren't really sure what the situation is. After some conversations here in the next week or so, we're going to come out with a roster. We're going to come out with who's on our team. I just didn't feel like it was appropriate with everything going on. We were going to do it obviously before spring football, and that was our plan. And then when all this stuff broke, they said, we're going to pause on that. So as soon as I have a chance to talk to the fellas that have opted out, because there are more than just the one that announced, I'll let you guys know who's in, who's out, all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll go to Steve Politi.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I don't know how to phrase this question, but do you even know what you have as a team at this point? I mean, if I had to try to come up with what your 2 deep would be, I don't think do you get a sense for what this is going to look like, what the Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights are going to look like in 5 weeks when they get in the field?
I think in some ways we do, Steve, and in a lot of ways we don't, right? So I think there's some players that you look at, whether it was in winter conditioning or whether it was when we came back at different points during the summer, or even now since we've been back since the postponement. We took those 2 weeks, and then the guys have come back and been working out, doing some work together as a team. There's certain guys you can just tell, like, they got it, right? And we're going to really have to count on them. But there's a lot more where I don't know. And the thing is, we have not tackled or blocked, which is a big part of our game, right? That's what kind of makes football different, the contact element of it. We haven't done that here at Rutgers since November 26th, 2019. I wasn't here November 26th, 2019. So I have never seen these guys block or tackle live. So I can't wait to see that. And then I can start to draw some, I think, more certain, or start to move towards some more certain decisions on what that 2 deep will look like. But in a lot of ways, you're right. I'm not sure.
Just as a follow-up, is this as big a challenge as you've had? I mean, I know you obviously inherited a situation the first time around, but as a coach?
Yeah, I'd say this is a lot different, and certainly the biggest challenge. But one that I'm excited. I'm glad I'm doing it at 54 and not 34. That I can tell you. But yeah, I'm excited. I know our staff. We were in a staff meeting. I stepped out here for a half hour, and we'll step back in with them. But we've been working all along. But I think, like I said, you can feel the energy meter turned up in this building right now, which is what it should be, right? I mean, that's what we do. We get excited about this stuff.
Thanks.
You got it.
Mike Pavlichko.
Greg, I know you're not a big in-the-moment reflect type of guy. We've learned that over the years. But, I mean, my gosh, the whirlwind that it's been from, is he going to be from the outsider, from the fan perspective, is he going to be the coach? Is he not going to be the coach? Okay, he is going to be the coach. Not going to be a spring camp. There will be a season. There won't be a season. Now there is a season. What has that been like for you, just that journey through all of that, constantly kind of pivoting back and forth?
I don't know. I think you're right in your statement that I kind of don't try to reflect too much in the moment. And when you take a job, it's a whirlwind, right? And just getting ready on spring break to take a breath and come back and really get practicing, and then we get the virus hits really New Jersey in earnest, and then from that point on, it's mayhem. So there really hasn't been time, and there won't be. There won't be time until after the season this year where you can sit back and reflect, if at all. And I do look forward to doing that, but now isn't that time. It has been exciting. Let's say that there's a lot of adjusting, a lot of pivoting that's been necessary, which at least you could say it doesn't get boring this way, right?
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
And we have time for one more. Go back to Sarge.
Greg, the Big Ten announced that be allowed at games. I know Rutgers had already announced that they were going to abide by Governor Murphy's state order. Two-part question on that is, one, what are your general reaction to the Big Ten making a uniform policy? Was it more equitable that way? And two, what's it going to be like just having these games without fans?
Well, I really can't tell you what it's going to be like. I've never done that, but I imagine it's going to be a lot like when you scrimmage against yourself in your stadium, except the stakes are going to be much higher. But I think everybody's been waiting to play football for so long, and we've had the advantage of watching some other teams do it, what it's going to be like. I don't know if family will be allowed in the stands. Maybe that, who knows what's going to happen. I've kind of taken the mindset that none of that really is important to me right now. We have 5 weeks to get our team ready, and all my focus is on that. I think as we get closer to the game, I'm going to talk to our team a lot about, I've already thought about what I'm going to say is this is a true test to see just how much you love the game of football, because you're playing, although millions of people are watching on TV, you don't know that when you're playing the game, right? It's who's in that building that day. And you're really going to be, you're going to be tired all the same, and you're going to be hurting all the same like you do in every football game, but are you going to be able to play for your teammates on your right and on your left and your coaches over on the sideline? Because that's who's going to be in there with you. And I love it. I think, not that I love not having fans, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that guys are playing for really each other. And I think that'll be something that is going to be interesting to watch unfold. Our fans, I am going to really ask them and try to include them in everything we do this season. It's not the way that I thought it would be, right? Obviously not the way any of us thought it would be. But there's things that we're going to do that I've already asked our marketing people and the people who work on this stuff to include our fans, whether it's TV shows or call-ins or whatever we got to do to make them feel as much a part of it as we can. And hopefully there can be some interactive stuff that happens on game day with our fans being involved. And I don't know, that's not my territory, but I've asked people who it is their territory to make that happen. So as we get closer, I think they'll make some announcements too on what we're going to do. But overall, guys, I got to tell you, I'm excited. I know our program, our players, our coaches, everybody has got a renewed energy, and we're going to go to work, and we'll be checking in periodically. And if you need something, you can reach out to Haas and try to help you in any way I can. So thanks. Appreciate you getting on.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, man. Take care.
Everyone. Thank you.